Hey guys, today I'm doing a video on losing my mom. If you didn't know, my mom passed away 2 weeks ago. She had leukemia. I just kind of wanted to touch base with you guys on where I'm at, because I know I've been posting my normal content and everything just seems okay, but I just realized it's okay to be raw. It's okay to be real with you guys, because somebody told me, like, maybe you sharing your experience can help other people who are going through the same thing. And I know a lot of you guys have been going through it or are going through it, and I know you all will. Like, it sucks. Just from the thousands of DMs I've received, a lot of you have gone through this, and it's crazy to see, because nobody should have to go through this. And you don't think you're gonna. Like, I'm 21 years old, and I know it happens to younger people. Even older, it hurts the same, but you just never think it'll happen to you so young. It shouldn't. Like, my mom was so young. She was literally 53 years old. Like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. But I was just gonna talk to it about you guys, address the whole thing. Not because I feel like I have to, because I want to. Basically a year ago, last summer, me and my family went to go take a trip to San Fran. It's where my dad and mom met, and they lived there, and they finally, last summer, I'm so happy they got to show us it. They've been talking about it their whole lives. They wanted to show us San Fran. So finally last summer they got to, and the whole trip my mom was kind of off. Like, we would go do stuff and go see stuff, but she was just like either tired or weak, or like couldn't do it. And we knew something was wrong when we came back from dinner, and she was just like literally shaking in a blanket, like could not get warm. Like, and she never shows pain. Like, my mom, even if she's showing pain, she won't show it, because she does not want people to worry about her. Like, this is how she puts other people, and this is how she puts her. Like, it's insane. So selfless. But so we got back from the trip, and she went to get blood work done just to see what's good. But obviously you don't think that that's gonna happen to your loved one. You hear about cancer in movies, you see posts about it, you pray for them, but you never think it'll affect you. So my dad called me. I was at a friend's house, and he told me, he started just by saying, "I'm sorry." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "I'm sorry." And I was like, "What?" And he just said that she has cancer, and I just didn't know what to think. How do you react to that? I didn't know what it was, how long it was gonna be, what was gonna happen. I didn't think this was gonna happen. You don't think that's gonna happen. I was like, it's my mom. She's so strong. She's so sassy. She's so spunky. Like, she'll be fine. But so I went home to go visit her in the hospital. They told her to be 4 weeks of chemo, and then you get, so her type of cancer, you get a bone marrow biopsy, and then after 4 weeks of chemo, you get the bone marrow biopsy. If it's clear, you get the bone marrow transplant. You can get a stem cell if it's a different kind, but for her kind, she needed the bone marrow transplant. So that was the goal. That's what we had on mind. 4 weeks in, 4 weeks, like, we're out. But we knew deep down. Have you ever heard of somebody who had cancer for only 4 weeks? I mean, I guess it's a thing, but it just didn't sound, I don't know. But the first weeks in the hospital, she was so strong. It was literally like she wasn't sick. Like, she was doing laps around the hospital, looked beautiful. I'll insert some pictures. I would just visit her, talk with her, would watch my YouTube videos in the hospital. Sorry. She just was doing really good, and that's why it was so hard to believe, because I was like, what? Like, she's doing so good. Like, she doesn't even seem like she should be in here. And it got like hard when we hit a bump. So when you have leukemia, your immune system's really weak, and that's where it gets a lot of people. Your immune system's just really weak all over your blood. It's just in your blood. Just lowers your immune system, so you have to be really careful. And she got this hospital-acquired infection, and it was called, what was it called? I forget it. There's been so much, but it was this blood infection, and she just got it really rare. They even told us this happens to under 5% of people. It was just this really bad infection. It got really bad. So she was having trouble breathing, and so she went under for a bronchoscopy, which is they just put you to sleep. They put down this thing to see your lungs, blah, blah, blah. But they just didn't wake her up from it, because they decided that her lungs needed help breathing for a little bit. So they said they're gonna put her on a ventilator for a couple of days. And I remember my dad called me again, started with the words, "I'm sorry," and that's when I was like, what is happening? He said, "You need to get here. She's on a ventilator." If you don't know what that is, it's like this tube put down your throat to help you breathe, and you're basically, you can be awake on a ventilator, but she was still sedated from the bronchoscopy. And at first it started as hey, she's only going to be on a vent for a couple of days to help her breathe. But then the infection just kept getting worse. She was in ICU. They eventually told us her body's going into sepsis and her organs are going to start to fail. And this was back in the end of July, so it was like a month after she was diagnosed. And so I was supposed to be back at school, but obviously I was not going back to school. We were in the ICU from morning to night. My dad would spend the night in the ICU. We were just like, this can't be happening, this isn't real. And I never wish, I mean, I knew it was gonna be bad, but going to that ICU room and seeing her like that, I mean, I knew she had no hair, but she would always wear like cute little hats and stuff, but she couldn't in the ICU. She was sedated on a ventilator. It was just, I wish nobody, I don't wish this on my worst enemy for anybody to see their mom like this. Just because she's so full of life, and seeing her so sick with so many tubes, it was just, it's just, no, I don't have words for it. But I even had to prepare my brother for it, because I was like, no matter how ready you think you are to see her, you're not. And it got to the point where it was getting bad, and they had to do this surgery where they shock her heart back into place, and they had to get our consent because it could go wrong, it could go right, but basically they were saying we should go through with it or else her organs are gonna fail. So obviously we said yes, we prayed, we cried, and the surgery worked. It was a miracle, it was great. The doctor came in, we were all crying, praying in the lobby. It was her best friends, all her family, and it worked. And they got her heart back into normal rhythm. Eventually they started weaning her off the vent. It took a while. She was probably under for like 2 weeks. Me and my dad would sit there and play Pink. That's her favorite artist, and we would try to get her to wake up because they took the sedation off, but it was just so heavy, it took her a while to wake up. So we were just like being like, "Jimmy's struggling in school, wake up, go yell at him." Like, we would try everything to wake her up, and finally she started slowly waking up, but it wasn't how you would think. It wasn't like, "Hi." It was literally just like slow, like maybe open one eye. Like, it was really hard to watch, but I was just glad she was waking up at all. And my original thing was, I'm not going to go back to school until she wakes up and tells me to go back to school. But it got to the point I missed almost all of cheer, which of course I wanted to, I needed to. But even my dad and my aunts and uncles, they're like, your mom would, if she wakes up and totally and sees you here, she's going to yell at you, Anna. She's going to be like, why are you not at school? And I knew that was true. So I waited until she was steady, somewhat alert, about to move her back to the other floor. And I went back to school, and my aunt moved in, my aunts and uncles helped, and it was great. But obviously I was upset and worried about my mom, but she ended up going back to the bone marrow transplant for back on track. But the ICU really set her back. Like I said, how she was supposed to get that transplant, or the transplant in 4 weeks, this ICU made her wait months. Like, she couldn't even get to the transplant and spend 1.5 years because it takes a toll on your body. She had to relearn how to walk. She couldn't talk. She had to relearn everything, and it was really hard to watch because it just sucks seeing somebody so strong and so sassy and so beautiful just go through that. And the worst part, when I tell you guys, she never complained. I never heard something come out of her mouth saying, why me? Why did this happen to me? What? Like, no. Like, I know if that was me, I would have been crying, bitching, excuse my language, every day, like making people do stuff for me. No, she literally, when she got diagnosed, she said, Anna, I'm worried about your dad. This has been, she said this has happened to him before. This has happened to him with his mom, and I feel so bad I'm putting him through it. She said that. She said she feels bad for us and my dad because she hates that she hates that we have to go through this. We were like, are you absolutely kidding me? You're literally on 5 rounds of chemo right now, and you're feeling bad for us. Like, it's just stuff like that that blows my mind, that she literally, like, it's just that amazing. And I never heard her complain. I would literally text her and be like, how are you doing? How's the hospital? Great, sweetie, great. When she's connected to so many tubes, throwing up every second. Like, we did not deserve her. Like, that's all I'm saying. And I don't know, but the whole ICU happened. I would go home. I'm so thankful for the times I got to go home, and obviously it was different. She couldn't come to any games this year, which sucked. That was her favorite part of any tailgate, coming to be my #1 fan, being so obnoxious in the stands, like wearing ponchos in the rain and just literally like embarrassing me, but I wish she would embarrass me now. Like, she was just so extra, and I just loved it, and I love it, and I miss it. And I don't know, her and my dad, it was just their favorite thing to do, to like get some beer, go out together, go to the games. So it was hard just seeing my dad at the games, and I'm so glad he could be there. But I know he missed her, I missed her. It was just not the same, but we managed. We sent her pictures, we FaceTimed her. So that went by. Literally the first thing, right when we got to the hospital, she was like, we were like trying to decide what to do, talking about what was gonna happen, and she looks at me and she goes, well, Jimmy was like, let's make some bracelets, like something to do. And she, like, the color leukemia is orange, and she looked at us and goes, well, can they be blue? And we were like, well, no, leukemia is orange. And she was like, I don't care, it's my effing fight. And like, we all just started laughing, and we made these bracelets that say Team Michelle and one day at a time. Because from the get-go, she said, we're gonna take this one day at a time. And that was our motto for this whole journey, and everything was one day at a time, because when you think about the long run, you can't think of the long run. And I looked at my dad after all this, and we both agreed that we have to spend each day one day at a time. I finally realized through her journey, it's not just one day at a time. From now to this point forward, it has to be one day at a time, because I can't look to the future. I can't, it's too much. It's too much to take in, thinking, living the future without her. So I have to spend each day one day at a time and focus on getting through the day, making her proud. And that's what I'm gonna do. So basically the ICU happened, I came home, visited her. It was really good to visit her. It was just really hard at the same time, because I just knew she couldn't be herself. Like, I told my dad we would go home and watch TV, and me and my dad would just be going back and forth, and she was just so weak and frail, and it killed me to watch her like that, because that's not her. We'd be watching TV and she'd be sitting there, and she also had this infection in her eye. She couldn't even see out of her eye, like, and she never even complained. I forgot towards the end she couldn't even see out of her eye. Did she ever complain? No. Like, I literally didn't even know. Like, it just amazes me. Like, she couldn't even see the TV, and yet she sat there and watched with us, and it was just so hard watching her not be able to like communicate with me how she wanted. Like, one night she came down, or when my dad was upstairs, she hugged me and she said, Anna, this was one of the first things she said. She said, Anna, I'm scared I'm not gonna be able to be a mom anymore. Sorry, and that just killed me, because I knew the one thing she wanted to do always was be a mom. And she always was a mom. Like, she literally was always the best mom. Like, she wanted to be a mom more than anything, and she always was. Like, when she hugged me and I could just feel her bones and she said that, it just like broke me, because I just hate that she had to go through that. I hate it. It doesn't make any sense, and I don't think I'll ever understand it. But what inspired me to make this video was one of my friends, Gretchen Garrity. You probably watch her videos. I watched this right before I watched her losing her dad video. Right. Just because she inspires me, and she's reached out to me during this, and I'm so thankful for it, because so many people can reach out, and it's so nice, and I'm so grateful for everybody and all of your comments and all of your DMs. I tried to respond to as many as I could, and it's just, I was told that nobody can understand what you're going through unless it's happened to you, and now I get that, and she gets that, and it's just nice talking with somebody. And I've talked with a lot of you who have been through it and just sharing advice. And she said one thing that really helped. It was, somebody told her, was losing a parent never gets easier, you just learn how to deal with it better each day. And I told my dad that, and he's like, that could not be more true. Like, it just doesn't, I'm trying to like go in order, but I'm just kind of going all over the place, but it's whatever. That's just how it is. That's how I am. Like, that I just kept visiting her. It was great. I honestly thought everything was fine. Like, not fine. I knew something was wrong when basically she just kept going to the hospital. Then she got it moved to a stomach infection. Like, it just seemed like she couldn't catch a break. So recently, before it happened, she got this bad stomach infection they could not get rid of. She wasn't healthy enough. Apparently they needed a surgery and they couldn't do it because she wasn't healthy enough. She was just getting worse and worse. And I should have known something was bad. I thought she was just checked in another hospital visit, but it's right before my 21st birthday. I noticed on my 21st she didn't text or call me. And she's just so extra, so every birthday I had, she made it amazing. Like, would just throw all these streamers parties, make me feel so special, just do the most. Like Jimmy, she threw a freaking scavenger hunt. Like, he didn't even want to do it, but he did, and she just does all this stuff. But when she didn't text me or call me on my birthday, that's when I knew something was up, because I knew she's always the first, like, she'll be the first one to say happy birthday, throw me a party. So I knew she must have been confused or heavily something. Then the next day my dad called me and was like, I'm sorry you said those words. And then I was like, I just didn't want him to keep going, but he said, I'm sorry. And he was like, where are you? And I was like, I just got home. And he was like, we'll get your roommates. And so I texted them, and he just told me, I'm sorry, they're sending her home. And I was like, that's good, what do you mean? And he was like, there's nothing they can do for her. And I don't know, I guess I thought they had a talk with the doctor a couple days ago, a month ago maybe, that could be a possibility. But then it sounded like things were looking up, so I just didn't think people would make the decision that fast. So he told me that, and he started crying, and my dad doesn't cry. And when he cried, it takes me a minute. I don't cry. I've gotten so many sweet gifts that mean more than the world. I've cried in this video. I'm saying I don't cry at like sweet or tender or happy things, or it just takes me a minute to cry. Like, I'm weird at showing my emotions. I'll show it like the randomest times or the stupidest things. When it's important or happy, I can't. Like, it just doesn't make sense. But I was just sitting in my car after he told me he was crying, and I just looked out the window and I was just like, no. It almost felt like it was bouncing off me. I was like, no. I was just sitting there, and then I started crying, and then it hits me most when I see my friends react, or I see my family react, or I see a Facebook post about her. I see people react, because then I'm like, oh shit, this is real. Like, I mean, I know it's real, but like, my friends just thought I was needing help with my outfits for that weekend. And so Mac opened the door and saw my face, and I literally just like fell into her arms, and we literally just, all three of us just sat on the couch and cried for hours. And I'm thankful I had them during that moment, but it just still felt surreal. Like, my dad told me this, I'm 4 hours away, there's nothing I could do. Like, the reason he did tell me was, so this happened to his mom, and he was told a little late. He was told really late. They thought she was perfectly fine, and until they got the call that she was dying. And from the get-go, they promised they would never do that to us. They would update us, keep it real with us, and that's what me and Jimmy wanted, and that's what they did. And as much as it hurt, I'd rather him tell me and me know than wait before it's too late. So I'm glad he did. I got to go home. It was a couple days late. It sucked because my brother would reach out to me when they took her home, and he was like, I hurt so bad. This is the hardest thing I've ever had to watch. I came home and just sobbed over her, and she got sent on hospice, and we chose to have her at home so we could all be around with her. Her family came over every single night. I think she was home for like a week and a half, 2 weeks maybe, before she passed. We're blessed to have family that live in around us, because they're just the best. My dad's brother and sister live nearby. We had my mom's best friends come over, and it was just really nice. And for the first couple of times I got to talk with her, hold her hand on our bed. She knew what was going on. We even got her to go out the porch. I'll insert that picture. That was the last time she got up, I think. It was just good to spend some time with her. It sucked seeing her deteriorate. Like, it was honestly the worst thing I've ever watched, but I had to be there. I wanted to be there. My teachers wanted me to be here. Everybody wanted me to be here. Everyone was so supportive. I wanted to be here. It just didn't make it any easier. As days goes by, she got more confused. Just wasn't awake, and just it sucks. It sucks. But just people were so comforting, and I was just so overwhelmed by the little comfort we had. When it happened, it was just, I remember vividly, it was at 9:30 at night. I was literally studying. My dad came out and literally looked like a deer in the headlights and was like, I think it happened. And we all ran in, and we knew it was gonna happen. Got to the point where every breath sounded like it could have happened. And I don't know, but it was just awful is my point. And I just pray that pray all your parents just live until you're like old, because I don't want anybody to go through this, and I know it's a part of life, and I know God has a plan, and it's so hard to hear that though, because I'm kind of like, I know he has a plan, but I'm like, why is that in the plan? Like, it doesn't make sense, but I know it is, and I know there's a reason, and I'm so glad she's out of pain, because she did not voice how much pain she was in, but she was in so much, and I know she's being herself. Like, I always wish she could in heaven right now, and it still doesn't feel real. It honestly feels like she just checked in for another hospital visit. I'm back at school. I feel like it's been this whole year. Like, this whole year I've been at school and not been able to see her. It just feels the same. I mean, it'll hit me at random moments, and that's what people say. It hits you at random moments when you realize, like, I do wish I could have texted her, called her more, put more of an effort. I got used to FaceTiming my dad just because I haven't been able to talk to her. She was on sedation for so long, and I just wish I would have called her every day and done more, but you can't live in regrets, or else it's not going to be okay. She wouldn't want me living in regrets. Nobody would, and I still haven't fully digested it, and I never will, but I just want to just talk to you guys where I'm at. And like, I seem okay. I'm posting on Instagram, but that's how I cope. That's how I do. At first I was like, I feel like a hypocrite posting on Instagram, but then I was like, you know what? No, like, nobody can judge me. Nobody has the right to say how you can and can't cope. Nobody can say, what the heck are you doing, Anna? You just did this. Like, this loss is so tremendous, and I am so sorry to anybody who's ever been through something like this or anything bad. Like, I'm not playing down anybody's anything. Like, I'm just saying, like, even my dad said, like, Anna, like, this wasn't just her battle, this was all of our battle, and whatever it takes for you to deal with this, like, we're gonna be okay, we're gonna get through this. And my dad is just, has my heart. The hardest part for me was thinking, it was just, I hate that he has to be alone. I hate it. And I wish more than anything I could change that, because their love, they were just so in love. Even my friends, all my friends were saying, I'm jealous of your parents' love. Like, that's my goals. That's what I want. And honestly, that's my goals. My mom always said, find somebody like your dad. Find somebody who can make you laugh even when you don't want to. And that's what I hold on to, and all her advice. And I wish I could just have a memory, like a literal video camera playing her whole life and everything she's ever said to me, because I'm straining. Like, I'm like, tell me, like, at her funeral, one of her best friends told a story that, like, in kindergarten, my mom was so extra, like I said, and just made everything so competition. Like, it was my kindergarten class, and it was me and my friend, and then my mom and her friend. They didn't know each other yet, but she said the class, the kids were supposed to bring in something, and so my mom's friend Kristen brought in, like, pretzels and all this little stuff, and she said the next day my mom came in with a whole tray of Anna banana smoothies, and had your own fruit platter and your own little take-home smoothie kits. And that's when Kristen was like, all right, I got to step it up. And then from then they become best friends, and they just went and outdoed each other and just were the best of friends. And I just love little stories like that I didn't even know of, because those are accurate descriptions of her. And like, the second grade basketball games, Kristen shared another story. Like, she would always be front row. My dad and Kristen's husband were the coaches, and she would literally yell, like, he's hot, like, just all this funny stuff, and just not care what other people think about her. And that's how I want to live. I want to live like my mom and not care what other people think, and just love with my whole heart, live life. She lives life with her whole being, like, just so spunky, and I'm just so grateful. I do realize that I am so grateful to have known her for 21 years and lived with her for 21 years, because I know a lot of people don't get that opportunity, and I have friends who lost their parents at such young ages, and I can't imagine, and my heart goes out to them. And I also know I did get a year's, I wouldn't say warning, because nothing can warn you for this, but we did get that year. My aunt did say, you're right, Anna, we did lose her in the ICU. We lost your mom in the ICU. Ever since then, she hasn't been able to be the same. And I found myself being like, okay, well, why? I was like, why did she make it through the ICU just to not make it? It makes no sense. She almost lost her life there, and I was like, there's no way she won't survive this if she went through that in the ICU. But finally I came to realization, the time from ICU to now, those bunch of months, those were a gift. Whether we realized it or not, those were a gift. I wish I could have spent more, but those nights that we would spend watching TV and when I got to go home from college and see her, those were priceless. So I'm thankful for that gift from the ICU to now. I'm just so thankful for everybody who's reached out, and I just can't, like, I can't even put into words. My best friends live, Maggie and Larissa, they knew I was hurting, and they knew how hard I was hurting. They all live in the north. They live in New Jersey, Philly, Boston. Like, y'all, they drove. After the day it happened, I was quiet. I didn't talk to anybody. I just cried in my room, would not eat that much. But then I realized, like, that's not how you cope. You have to get up, you have to eat, you have to do this. And there were lots of brownies, so I did be eating those, and they were good. But I was just sad, and I just didn't know what to do. And our family was there, of course, but it just was weird, and it just, I don't know. But I woke up, somebody said, Anna, come downstairs, and them three were standing in my kitchen. I literally was like, I wish I could have cried. I don't know how I didn't. I'm telling you, I cry at the wrong moments. But I was literally like, I cannot fathom what they just did for me, guys. They said, Anna, we don't even care if we just get to give you a hug. We're not staying with you. We don't want to bombard you. We drove 13 hours because we want to give you a hug. You need a hug. We love you, and we know this is gonna be the hardest thing you've ever done, and we want to be here for you. And I literally just can't fathom that. I cannot wrap my head around that people care about me that much. Like, I didn't even know what to say, and all these sweet gestures, sweet everything. I'm just in awe, and I'm so thankful for every single person. And this blanket, my friends Emily, Meredith, and Lily, and some girls on COA got me. It's this blanket with all these pictures of my mom, and it's so cozy and warm, and I just like to wrap up in it. And I just had no words for this either, because it just meant a lot to me, and I use it every night, and I just am so blessed. And my dad is just the strongest person. I can't even talk about how he's, like, it just kills me. It kills me that he doesn't deserve this. He's so sweet, and I don't even know how he's our rock. He's been our rock this whole year. I could not make it through this life without him. Like, he is my rock. He will be my rock. He's forever my rock. Like, I just love him with my whole entire heart. And I hate that he has to go through this, but it's life, and it's what's happening, and we're gonna be okay. He tells me we're gonna be okay, so I have to believe we're gonna be okay, because if he says so, we're gonna be okay. So that's my update. I'm sorry if I got a little too into it. I just wanted to share how I'm feeling, what's going on. I just want to be real with you guys, because yeah, it's great. I can distract myself by coping and all this stuff, but I also want you guys to know it's okay to show your feelings. It's okay to not be okay. And I've learned that. My friends have told me that. My friend Carly, I was in Athens the other day, had the whole weekend, ignored everything, partied, woke up Sunday morning, just we're at dinner randomly. I started sobbing, and Carly literally had to hug me and be like, Anna, like, it is okay to show emotion. It's okay to not be okay. All this stuff, like, so sweet. And she's right. Like, it's literally waves. It's gonna be waves for the rest of my life, and it just doesn't feel real. But I want to know, I'm praying for you if this has happened to you, and we're in this together. And I just thank you guys for all the support, and I hope this video can help you if you're going through it, have gone through it. You can come back to if you will go through it. I don't even know if it'll help, but sometimes it helps me to hear about other people going through it. But yeah, I love you guys. Thank you for everything.